Hi everyone, Miss Barker here. We're going to be moving on into our next part of our three-dimensional solids unit. Our learning target is at the top. We will calculate the area of two-dimensional figures, squares and rectangles, and the reason why we're going to work on area or review area is that we're going to use that to calculate the surface area of three-dimensional solids later in the week. So the first thing we're going to start with today is reviewing from a couple weeks ago, back when we were in our classroom, the area of two-dimensional figures. We know we have a formula for finding area of flat or two-dimensional figures, and that formula is area equals length times width, or what we're going to use instead is base times height. Now, I just put a really simple example on this first slide, and most of the ones you're going to see today in our mini lesson and on the work you do as your practice, you might think of as review, and that is good. It should feel that way. We're just going to need to practice this before we apply it to surface area. So we're going to start by working on finding the area of this rectangle here. And remember, area is the space inside of the shape. Perimeter is around the outside. So I'm going to plug in my formula, area equals base times height. I'm going to use my numbers for my rectangle here. My base is 5 inches times 3 inches is going to give us an area of 15 square inches. Okay, a couple more practice problems on reviewing our area formula for rectangles and squares. We're going to start with this rectangle on the left side of the screen. I'm going to rewrite our formula. And it's called a formula. We can use this for every rectangle or square we see to find the area. Kind of like our formula for finding volume or our formula for finding area of triangles. So area, A stands for area equals base times height. I'm going to rewrite that by plugging in my base and my height values. Now this is one where we don't see those little centimeter by centimeter square units inside, so we can't use that to find our area. Instead, we're going to use our formula. 8 is my base, times 4 is my height. I know 8 times 4 is 32. That means area of this rectangle is 32 square centimeters. Remember to pay attention and look for that, those dimensions there, the units there. Okay, next, moving on, we're going to look to the figure on the right side of the screen. Hopefully, remember from our review or our unit before that when you see these lines and they're all the same on a figure, it means that the side lengths are exactly the same. And you're probably thinking, well, that looks like a square anyways. So I know my base is going to be 3 centimeters. Think about what you know about squares. That means that my height is also going to be 3 centimeters. I'm going to rewrite that formula again. Area equals base times height. I'm going to rewrite it again, plugging in my values, my base and my height values, which are the same. And I know that 3 times 3, our area is 9 square centimeters. Okay, now we're going to apply that volume formula to some more word problems. Not necessarily word problems, but applying it in a different way. I'm going to start out by reading this first one on the top. A rectangle has a base of 12 centimeters and a height of 6 centimeters. What is the area of the rectangle? There's 2 ways you could approach this problem. I think the way that I'm going to start is by drawing a really fast sketch of my rectangle, and then I'm going to pull out the information from the problem. The base is 12 centimeters, and it has a height of 6 centimeters. Just going to label that on my rectangle real quick. And then, if let's say you didn't want to draw that, you didn't think that that visual or model would help you, that's okay, as long as you know that your formula is area equals base times height, and you can plug those values in. Area equals 12 times 6. If this is not a problem that you can do in your head, this multiplication, that's okay. Show some work and how you want to do that, or even if you want to try to do that and then check your work with a calculator. I'm going to real quick do the standard algorithm over here. 12 times 6. I know that 2 times 6 is 12. That's 6 times 1 here is 6 plus 1 is 7. That means that our area is equal to 72 square, we use SQ, centimeters. I'm going to circle my answer. Okay, I'm going to read this next problem here. A rectangle has an area of 99 square inches. The height of the rectangle is 11 inches. What is the base of the rectangle? Interesting. So this is kind of one of those puzzle problems I really like. We are missing one of our side lengths, one of our dimensions, but we do know our area, so we're going to have to kind of work backwards. Again, I'm going to draw a rectangle here to help my brain understand this problem and model it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I know that the height of my rectangle is 11 inches. You can see that here. I'm going to pull that information out and I'm going to label my height equals 11 inches. Okay, I know that the area, so the inside of my rectangle, is 99 square inches. Almost ran out of room there. Sorry, that's a little bit messy. And then I am missing my base measure. So I'm going to use my model here to think about this. I'm also going to write out our area formula. So area equals base times height. We know our area is equal to 99 square inches, but we are missing our base value. So we're missing this value, and we know our height is 11. What we need to do here is figure out what times 11 equals 99. You could do this backwards. You could divide 99 by 11. Now I'm going to do this with mental math. I know that 11 goes into 99 9 times, or that 9 times 11 is equal to 99. That means that our base is equal to 9 inches. Okay, these are the last couple problems we're going to use to review our learning target. You might see some like these problems on your independent practice. So just to kind of prepare you, we're going to move through them pretty fast. We're going to start with this one. I'm going to call this problem up here number 1. This will be number 2, 3, and lastly down here will be 4. Okay, we're going to start with number 1. Now, this is an example of a problem where we don't have a lot of information laid out in a word problem or anything, but we have exactly what we need to find area. We can see down here, area is what we are trying to accomplish in our answer to this problem. And I see right now I have my height and my base. We don't have any units, so we're just going to call these square units instead of inches or feet or yards or anything. And then I'm going to ask you, every time you do one of these, keep trying to practice, and I know it's a little bit difficult on your Chromebook, but keep trying to practice following that step by step when you do your area formula. So I'm going to write our formula. Area equals base times height. Oops. We're going to plug our values in. Area equals, we know our base is 13 times our height is 8. And then right off the top of my head, I don't know my multiples of 13 or my multiples of 8 up to 13. So real quick on the side of my paper or the side of this board, I'm going to real quick do this standard algorithm. I know that 8 times 3 is 24. And I know that 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 is 10. So our area is 104 square units. Okay, moving on to number 2 over here. We're going to try and find the area of a square with a height of 8 inches. You might be thinking, hey, wait a minute. If we're finding area, we only know our height is 8. We don't know what our base measure is, because we know area equals base times height. But if this is a square, here's the key word here. If this is a square, and we know that our height is 8, what does this base have to be if it's a square? That means all sides are equal. That means we know our base measure is also 8 inches. So we're going to be multiplying 8 inches times 8 inches. 8 times 8 is 64. That means our area is 64 square inches. I'm going to abbreviate both of those. Okay, number 3. Now this one's a little bit tricky. We're going to end up working backwards. Again, we know that we don't know right away if this is a rectangle or square. I guess we do know because 4 times 4 cannot equal 56. But instead, if you want to draw a model for these, even when you're doing a practice, you can use the drawing tools on Google Docs to do that. But now we know our area. I'm going to rewrite our formula. Now in this problem, we know that our area equals 56 units, square units, And we know that our base is 4. What we are missing is our height measure. And that's what we're looking for down here too. So that kind of tells us we're doing the right thing. Now, what we need to try and figure out here is what number, what missing value here, if we multiply it times 4, gives us 56. Now, one way you could do this is think about multiplication. Think about how close you could get. I know 4 times 10 is only 40. Instead, I'm going to challenge you to use division for this one. That will give us this missing factor here. I'm going to set this up in the standard algorithm using division. Dividing 56 by 4 will give us our height. $14. So I know that our height has to be 14 inches. And if you want to check your work there, what you can do is multiply 14 times 4, 4 times 4, 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 56. Is that what we were looking for? Yep, check, good. Our very last problem here, number 4. A rectangle has a base of 4 inches. The height of the rectangle is 3 times its base. What is the area of the rectangle? Interesting. So here again, I'm going to real quick draw a rectangle here to help me visualize this. And I am going to put in what we know. We know that our base is 4 inches. So I'm just going to label that quick on our rectangle over here. Now, what we don't know is the area, but we also don't know the height yet. We need to do a couple extra steps here, at least one extra step. The height of the rectangle is 3 times its base. So that tells me I need to multiply the base value times 3 to find the height. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 3, and that will give me my height is 12 inches. Now, once I have that, I know that I can use that and use my area formula. Area equals base times height. Plug in my values. Area equals 4 times 12 to find the area of this rectangle in square inches. 12 times 4. I'm going to do that right here in the standard algorithm as well. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. So our area is 48 square inches.